Welcome students, let's continue with the problems on AC principles. In the last class we have solved somewhere around 8 problems. Then the ninth one is a sinusoidal voltage varies from 0 to a maximum value of 200 volts. How much is its value at the instances of 30 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree and 270 degree. We know that what is the instantaneous value of the voltage? Small v is equal to capital Vm, which is representing the peak value of the voltage, sin theta. Here they have given the degrees of rotation, so you can consider sin theta, not sin omega t. Peak voltage they have given, that is 200 volts. So substitute 200 sin 30 degree. You people already know what is sin 30 in your trigonometry, that is 1 by 2, then 100 volt. When a signal, sinusoidal signal reaches, they have given this is a sinusoidal signal, it's a 200 volts is a peak value at 30 degree. This is at 90 degree, this is 45 degree, this is sorry, this is 360 degree, so it is 90 degree, it is 270 degree, 180 degree. At 30 degree it comes, assume here 30 degree, the value of the voltage is 100 volts. That we have got. Okay, and the second one, Vm sin theta, again no need to put the formula again. Peak value is 200 volts, sin theta is 45 degree. So 200 into 1 by root 2, that is 0.707 into 200. Calculate it and put the value. So it will come somewhere around 1.141 something. Then it is 141.4 volts at the instance when it reaches 45 degree. The voltage is 141.4 volts. Okay, and the next one, small v is equal to Vm is 200 sin 90 degree. See here you can see 90 degree only will get the peak value. You can directly write 200 volt, or sin 90 is equal to 1, then it is 200 volt. You can put the formula or directly write it is 200 volt, because at 90 degree only the sinusoidal voltage reaches the maximum value. And the last one, 200 into sin 270 degree. Sin 270 is minus 1, so 200, it is minus 200 volt at the instant here, the negative peak, that is minus 200 volt. Okay, if they ask in the examination, no need to write the diagram, only you can put the formula and write the value of the voltage, and writing the unit is compulsory in each and every problem. Next problem, if the peak value is 240 volt, find out its effective value. Effective value in the sense, again the RMS value, direct formula you can write. They have given the peak value, that is 240 volt effective value is equal to VRMS. Effective value is nothing but VRM is equal to Vm by root 2, that is 0.707 into 240 volts. Calculate it, put the answer. It will be somewhere around 169 volts. The next problem, okay, put it as 12th one. Typing mistakes it is. See, that completes the problems on, up to this we have solved, that completes the problems on AC principles. These are the some problems we have left in the exercise of principles of electricity. So, let us look into that. Find the following: total resistance in this circuit. We have to calculate total resistance in this circuit, and voltage at point A, voltage at point A, and potential at point B we have to calculate. Then total current in the circuit. Okay. Please observe the circuit carefully. Please observe the circuit carefully. See, here total resistance we have to calculate. In this circuit, if you do not consider this, then if you, here they have shorted it, observe this. If it is not shorted, you might have paralleled 3 kilo ohm and 4 kilo ohm, and the effective resistance of these two will be added to 2 kilo plus 1 kilo. But they have shorted it at the point B. Therefore, total resistance is equal to 1 kilo ohm, because this will not be considered, current will not flow in this because it is short circuited. Whatever the current flows from here, once it reaches point B, it travels, takes this path, because current always chooses low resistance path. Okay. Therefore, the circuit will start from here and this will end up to here, and it will not, these three resistors will not be considered because they are parallel with the short circuit. Short circuit resistance is 0 ohm. Therefore, anything parallel to 0 ohm in the sense 0 only. So, obviously total resistance of this circuit will be 1 kilo ohm. Okay. That is A. In B, voltage at A. Voltage at point A, that is VA is equal to 12 volt. Whatever the potential here, that will be existing here, that is 12 volt. Next one is potential at B, that is voltage at point B, that is VB is equal to 0 volt, because all the 12 volts will drop here. Here, whatever the voltage here, that will be existing in B. So, 0 volt. And the last one is total current flowing in the circuit, that is total current I is equal to 12 divided by 1 kilo ohm, then it is 12 milliamperes of current is flowing. Okay. Observe, in this only thing they have shorted from point B to point C. Therefore, the calculations will be different. If it is not shorted, then you might have parallel 3 kilo and 4 kilo ohm resistors, and those that will be series with 2 kilo ohm, and completely values will be changed at that time. Okay. Next one is the figure determine the unknown branch currents, unknown resistance of the circuit. It is something unknown resistance of the circuit. Here in the circuit 40 volt DC supply is there, 3 kilo ohm resistors, and this resistance is unknown. Calculate branch currents. We have to calculate I1, I2. Even we don't know I. Main current we don't know. The current which flows here we don't, that is 10 milliamperes they have given. So total current will be 30 milliamperes. We have to calculate I1, I2, R2 and R1. Okay, first we will calculate the value of R1. See these 40 volts resistors, these three are connected in parallel. Therefore, here across this branch 40 volts will be dropped. Again the voltage drop across each branch will be same because it is a parallel combination of resistors. So here you can keep the voltmeter and check, it will be 40. Again here also it will be 40. The last branch also shows the 40 volts. Therefore, the voltage across this is 40 volts. The 10 milliamperes of current is flowing here. Then what will be the value of resistance we have to find out. You can write V is equal to I into R, that is Ohm's law. V is 40 we know. I flowing here, current flowing in the first branch, that is 10 milliamperes, into resistance will be R1 plus 3 kilo ohm. So R1 plus 3 kilo is equal to 40 divided by 10 milli, that is 4 kilo. Therefore R1 is equal to 1 kilo ohm. Understood? Whatever the voltage drop here, that is 40 volts, divided by resistance gives us current, or divided by current gives us resistance. One resistance we know, that is 3 kilo ohm. The another one is we got as 1 kilo ohm. Okay. Here 20 milliamperes of current is flowing from here to here, and it divides, this 20 milliamperes divides across 8 kilo ohm and this R2. Now we have to find out the current flowing through R2, that we don't know. If you get the current flowing through R2, then you can calculate the resistance. What is the value of R2? For that, current divider rule you can apply. I2 is equal to main current, that is 20 milliamperes, into opposite branch resistance, that is 8 kilo ohm. The current coming from here, the current through this will be equal to main current into opposite branch resistance divided by 8 kilo plus R2. Also we cannot do. Voltage across I1 we have to find out, then only we'll get to know I2. We'll calculate I1 first. We'll calculate I1, that is equal to 40 V by R formula divided by 8 kilo. 5 milliamperes is the current flowing through 8 kilo ohm. Okay, we got the value of I1. Then I2 will be equal to I20 milli minus I1, that is 15 milliamperes. We got the value of I2. So whatever the formula I had put that time, that is I2 is equal to R2 is equal to 40 divided by I2, 40 divided by 15, R2 is equal to 2.66 kilo ohm. R2 is 2.66 kilo ohm. I1 we got as 5 milliamperes, I2 as 15 milliamperes remaining from 20 milliamperes. We got the I2 value, then calculate R2. The voltage across that R2 is 40 volts. 40 volts divided by the 15 milliamperes, which is the value of I2, will get value of resistance. Next problem is, how do you create 3 volts, 2 volts and 1 volt from a 3 volt source? That means they have given a 3 volt source. For that you have to connect 3 resistors in series. It's the point A, B, C and D, equal value 1 kilo ohm, 1 kilo ohm, 1 kilo, any equal value of resistances if you put, if you measure voltage across A and B, if you measure voltage across, complete voltage will be 3 volts. So if you connect wires voltmeter across this, you will get 3 volts. If you connect voltmeter across here, that will be 1 volt. If you connect voltmeter across here, that will be 2 volt, because 3 volt is the source. Equal value of resistance, voltage divider rule, voltage divides equally among the resistors, because the value of the resistor will be same. Okay, hope you people have understood this. Any doubts, text me. Along with this problem, we have completed principles of electricity. Principles of electricity is a very important chapter. The same concepts, whatever you have studied in principles of electricity, Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's laws, AC principles, and problems on Kirchhoff's laws, everything, charges, that and all you are going to study in the second PUC physics. Okay, in second PUC physics, this will be in depth, because in AC principles you will be having derivations of VRMS and V average values and all. Okay, and this chapter from the examination point of view in first PUC carries 19 marks total, and from here 5 marks compulsory, one theory question. In the last part, part E, in the part E, you you'll get 5 marks theory question. In part D, 5 marks problems you will get from this chapter. 5 marks problem you will get, and in part C 3 marks questions will be there. 3 marks 2 questions will be there, either problem or theory. One problem and one theory, I guess. Problems will be on Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's laws, or any branch current divider rule, voltage divider rule, something like that, or on AC principles. In part B, 2 marks questions will be there. 1 question will be asked from this chapter, and part A, compulsory 10 questions will be there, 1 mark questions. There also you will get 1. That means 5 plus 5, 10, and it will be completely 6 marks, 2 questions of 3 marks. 10 plus 6, 16, 2 marks plus 1 marks, then completely 19 marks questions will be asked from this chapter. In your question paper there will be 5 parts, part A, B, C, D, E. From this chapter, in all the parts you will be having questions. In part C you will be having 2 questions. So if you read this chapter, you can easily pass. Only 2 marks will be for passing. Marks will be 21 marks minimum for out of 70. 21 out of 70 is compulsory in theory. So if you read this chapter, 98% of this electronic syllabus will be completed. Okay. So nothing has been reduced from this chapter. The syllabus has been reduced, but nothing has been reduced from this chapter. Completely 19 marks questions will be asked. So this is very important. Put 3 stars or 5 stars, anything. This is very important from the point of examination as well as from the point of your knowledge. It will be helpful in second PUC physics as well, and also if you choose electronics and communication or any branch in the engineering, if you go for engineering, one compulsory basic electronics paper will be there, either in the first semester or in the second semester. These are only you are going to study. This will also be there in the engineering. Okay, but it will be in depth. Okay, and also in practicals we have to prove Ohm's law and KCL and KVL, and also I have shown you how to generate AC waveforms and how to calculate Vp and all. So from this chapter, and also Thevenin's theorem, I guess maximum power transfer theorem. These are all you are going to perform the experiments in the laboratory. So this chapter is very important from the point of practicals also. Okay. If the college starts, then we will start practical classes as soon as possible. If not, also we will try to have a practical class online. Okay. I will let you know about that. Please, if you have not watched videos yet, please watch the videos before it become private. Complete this chapter, complete for the next coming test also will be considering this chapter. Okay. Any doubts regarding this chapter from the first lecture of this chapter? Any doubts? Please text me. Thank you.